Hello and welcome to a short video on this very rare piece of equipment for sale. It's a set of the original Moog Taurus bass pedals. This set is from about 1977. They've been very well gigged, so they're not in mint condition, but having said that, they sound fantastic. Every component on them works, and they've just benefited from a full service from a qualified Moog dealer in our area, and so everything is up to speed. All the bulbs are working, and all the parameters in the variable are working faultlessly too. I've set it up through a basic powered monitor just so you get an idea of the sounds, and also the sounds that I'll demo are more on a sort of a Rush theme. If you're into Rush, the video sounds will be familiar to you, I'm sure. So let's just zoom in quickly and show you exactly what we have for sale. If you're not familiar with the set of Taurus pedals, they come with 4 presets. On the left hand side, as you can see, there's one called Variable, there's one called Taurus, which is the sort of classic sound which is only available on this unit. There's one called Tuba, and there's one called Bass. As you can see, there is a slight break in the face of the faceplate, but that doesn't affect the performance at all, and the bulb is working. Just to the right of the set of that section, we have a button which is used for glide, which you can glide between pedals as you press them. So I'll give you a demonstration of that. Then there's a decay switch which is eliminated, which basically is the length of time that the note decays after you've taken your foot off. And on the far right, as you can see, then there's an octave switch, so you can physically change between 2 octaves. I'll give you a quick demo of that as well. So going back to the variable control, basically that is where you have control over the actual parameters of the built-in synthesizer, which is under this this plastic bezel here. It's worth mentioning while we're on that subject that this is one of the first thing which disintegrates or is lost on any Moog Taurus pedals from this period. I'm pleased to say that the bezel, as you can see, is original to this unit and is intact and is working correctly. The hinge is fine, and there's no problem with it anywhere. Likewise with the 2 feet, as you can see, there's a loudness slider on the left of the unit, and also a filter on the right hand side. One of the first things which disappear is this little rubber foot covering over that panel, and I'm pleased to say that those are intact on this unit as well, so that's a bit of a bonus. Okay, so let's get to the sounds. I'm sure you know that this is a 12-note foot pedal keyboard, and it's worth mentioning that all the pedals are working 100%. They are known as the contact board between the pedal and the unit breakdown, but during the recent service they were all oiled and made sure that they're all working correctly. So let's start, I guess, with the classic Taurus sound, which is only available on this unit. I'll just press a low E note for you so you get an idea what I'm talking about. That is obviously the sort of rumbling sound which is used on songs like Walking on the Moon, on many Rush tracks from the sort of late 70s and early 80s, which is how the unit has been set up, because that's what it's been used at, is in a Rush tribute band recently. So there you go. So as you can see, different pedals. Just to give you the full sound of that particular sound, if I hit the octave button, as you can see, it eliminates, and now we go up an octave on the Taurus setting to give us this. And you're in sort of instant Xanadu land, which is the classic Moog sound from the 70s Fail the Kings album. Okay, so there you go, give you an idea what that sounds like. I'll just knock off the octave button again, and then we'll move on to the variable section. Now this is as I said earlier, you have total control on this. There's 2 oscillators which can give you many different sounds, but just for the sake of this demo, I'll just give you the sort of sound that I've set up, which is, once again, is a classic sort of Rush sound, with an emphasis giving that sort of effect, which is very popular. Okay, so that's with a lower octave, and once again, if I hit the higher octave, it gives you the classic sort of Fail the Kings era Xanadu sound again. So if you're in a Rush tribute band, these are a bit of a must-buy, I think, really. Okay, moving across the top, next to the Taurus, we have what is probably, if I'm being honest, the least usable sound on them. But if you are a sort of an 80s retro band, this might work for you. This is called the Tuba preset, which to me sounds just a little bit flat and uninteresting. But there you go, it might work for you. And with the octave button on, quite useful for a droning effect, I guess, but not really what I would use them for. Okay, but as you can see, it's working fine. Knock the octave off, and then the last sort of preset setting is what's known as bass. Sorry to keep referring to the Rush, but it is a classic example of this sound. Actually, that Alex Lifeson uses at the end of the Xanadu Live on albums like Exit Stage Left. At the very end of the song, where Geddy Lee is on the 12 string and Alex is on the 12 string, the very quiet outro to the song, he uses this preset just to give a little stab of bass sounds, which is also used, I believe, on La Villa Strangiato, another Rush song, so you might recognise that. As you can see, that's quite a punchy sort of nice accenty sound. That bit in Xanadu, you know, which is once again really handy. And with the octave on, a bit higher. Okay, so there you go. So that's the full range of sounds. I'll just take the volume down. So if you are interested in these pedals, please contact me a number of ways. They will be for sale on eBay, which will be a slightly higher price than they are available on my website, which is the Music Deli. If you'd like to visit themusicdeli.com, they will be for sale on there, and a bit cheaper than eBay, as obviously I avoid a hefty eBay bill. I'll just give you a quick circuit of them so you can see the general condition. The sides are, there is a wood finish sort of veneer on the sides of them, which, as you can see, is all intact from the front. There's a separate volume control. You've got the classic Moog logo, which is the later, fatter version of that logo. Some of them from the early Genesis days are really skinny, and I don't think they look as cool. You can get an idea of the general condition of them. As I said, they are well gigged, but for a unit which has been sat on the floor for most of its working life, since the mid-70s, late 70s, they're in great condition. But the most important thing is that they are 100% working. If you are looking for a set of these, please make sure that they are working, because there are some components which can fail on them. Luckily, this set are not like that. I don't have a flight case or any sort of case for them, I'm afraid. I did have a case made for another set of Taurus pedals which I own, which cost about 150 quid, and it's worth the investment, needless to say, for something of this value. Neither is shipping included either. We'd have to come to some arrangement. I live about 20 minutes from the M4 motorway, junction 28. So if you would prefer to come and pick them up, that's fine. Needless to say, if you are struggling to get that far, I would consider meeting you halfway with them. But you would obviously have to rely on the test that I've just videoed to prove that they're all working and 100% operational. Thank you very much for your interest. And if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me directly, either through eBay or through the Music Deli. Have a good day. Cheers.